Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I have to warn you before you watch any further, this episode of Ignition Time is going to make some of our viewers and subscribers upset. When I started the Ignition Time channel, my goal was to bring you the truth wherever the truth might lead us. If you're a die-hard supporter of either former President Trump or President Biden, I think you're going to be upset by the end of this video. But I can tell you that this video, this episode of Ignition Time is about presenting you with facts and letting you come to your own conclusion. In some brand new comments pertaining to the verdict in the Derek Chauvin trial, the former White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany actually weighed in and she said President Biden should not inflame the tensions by weighing in on the Derek Chauvin trial. In other words, she's implying that President Biden could be inciting violence. Now, fortunately, we didn't have any major episodes since the Derek Chauvin trial. We didn't have nationwide problems like some people were expecting. But let's check out exactly what Kayleigh McEnany said on Fox, and I'll tell you why I think this is extremely hypocritical. I encourage you to watch this video all the way through to the end. And for the 1% of our viewers who are going to freak out about what Congresswoman Maxine Waters said, I do think that she's a little bit out there. This isn't about her. This is about comparing one president with another. I'm going to compare apples to apples. First, let's take a look at what Kayleigh McEnany said in a brand new segment from Fox. We're about to see a segment with Kayleigh McEnany where she said the role of the president is to stay back and not inflame the tension. Let's roll the tape and check out the former press secretary of former President Donald Trump. I believe that she was working for someone who didn't exactly do what she's saying. In fact, I'll prove it to you. Let's roll the tape and hear these rather hypocritical comments from Kayleigh McEnany.
You're exactly right. And we heard Judge Cahill go on to caution elected officials and say, I urge you not to weigh in just hours before or half a day before the president himself weighs in. Look, I'm glad he at least waited until the jury was sequestered.
Right.
But I think that the country is such a tinderbox right now, especially Minneapolis. There's so much hurt, so much pain. And I think it's the role of the president of the United States to stay back, to not inflame the tensions. I like that he called the family of George Floyd. President Trump did too, but it's such a tinderbox moment, and I think he should have just reserved comment and said he's praying for the family, as we all are.
So what is Kayleigh freaking out about? What is making her so upset? Apparently, President Biden did indeed weigh in on the verdict of the Derek Chauvin trial before the verdict was announced while the jury was sequestered. What exactly did President Biden say? Let's actually listen to the comments from President Biden that essentially elicited a reaction from Kayleigh McEnany that the president should not inflame tensions. Let's roll the tape and check out exactly what President Biden said that essentially motivated Kayleigh McEnany to say what she said. Let's roll the tape and hear from President Biden.
I've come to know George's family, not just in passing. I've spent time with him. I spent time with his little daughter, Gianna. You should see this beautiful child. And his brother, both brothers, as a matter of fact. So I can only imagine the pressure and anxiety they're feeling. And so I waited till the jury was sequestered and I called. And as I wasn't going to say anything about it, but Lonius said today on television, and he accurately said it was a private conversation because Joe understands what it's like to go through loss. And they're a good family, and they're calling for peace and tranquility, no matter what that verdict is. I'm praying the verdict is the right verdict, which is, I think it's overwhelming in my view. I wouldn't say that unless the jury was sequestered now, not hear me say that. But so we just talked to them. I want to know how they were doing, just personally, and we talked about personal things.
Okay, so on the one hand, you have President Biden saying what he said. I will let you be the judge as to whether that incites violence and, in the words of Kayleigh McEnany, inflames the tension. So I have a question for you. You watched President Biden and you heard what he said. Does that inflame tensions and incite violence? Let me know what you think. Now, let's play a clip with different segments of what former President Trump has said over the years, and I want you to let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's take a look at what Kayleigh McEnany's former boss the former president of the United States has said over the years. Let's roll the tape and check this out.
I certainly don't incite violence.
Knock the crap out of him. Like to punch him in the face.
I don't condone violence, and I don't talk about violence.
I would have done well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that. I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will.
Maybe he should have been roughed up because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing.
If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Try not to hurt him. If you do, I'll defend you in court. Don't worry about it. In the good old days, this doesn't happen because they used to treat them very, very rough. And when they protested once, you know, they would not do it again so easily. We become weak, we become weak. And you know what? The audience swung back. And I thought it was very, very appropriate. The audience hit back. And that's what we need a little bit more of now. Part of the problem and part of the reason it takes so long is nobody wants to hurt each other anymore, right? I don't know if I would have done well, but I would have been out there fighting, folks. I don't know if I would have done well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. I'll beat that.
Do you plan on paying for the legal fees of this older gentleman in North Carolina who sucker punched the protester?
From what I understand, he was sticking a certain finger up in the air. And that is a terrible thing to do in front of somebody that, frankly, wants to see America made great again.
It's possible you could help him with legal fees if this man needs it.
I've actually instructed my people to look into it, yes.
Yes, those were comments from the former president of the United States. So, who's inflaming tensions? Who's inciting violence? Who's right and who's wrong? I want you to be the judge. I did tell you at the start of this video that this video was likely, this episode of Ignition Time was likely to make some of our viewers and subscribers upset. I want you to know that for me, this is about presenting the truth wherever the truth might lead us. I understand that I'm not going to make everybody happy all the time, but guess what? I'm not here to win a popularity contest. I'm here to stack things up, and I can tell you that whenever I present information that is critical of the Republicans, I'm called a Democrat. Whenever I present information that's critical of the Democrats, I'm called a Republican. For me, what matters is we compare apples to apples and we come to a conclusion based on what is exactly happening. Let me know in the comment section below whether you agree or disagree that Kayleigh McEnany was being hypocritical. In other words, she was working for someone who did quite the exact opposite, and she is now criticizing President Biden just because she's on Fox. And the only thing that the Fox News propaganda machine does is try and criticize every single thing that the Biden administration does. Let me know whether you agree or disagree with this hypothesis in the comment section below. Also, most importantly, let me know whether you think President Biden inflamed tensions and incited violence. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.